Good morning. My name is Andrew Schultz. I'm going to call this meeting of the City Board of Ethics to order. We only have one item on our agenda today, and this is a settlement hearing called under Section 6, Article E of the Rules and Regulations of the Board. That section provides that after a complaint is filed with the Board of Ethics alleging a violation of the election code, the respondent can offer to settle the complaint by admitting the allegations set forth in the complaint and requesting a settlement conference. If a settlement is then reached, the city clerk's office is required to prepare a settlement agreement that is submitted to the parties, and then that signed agreement is submitted to the board for approval at a public hearing. This is that public hearing. Under our rules, no testimony or argument will be accepted, and the only question before the board is whether to accept the settlement agreement reached by the parties. To be clear, if the board accepts the settlement, then it will issue a consent order, which it also must consider and approve at today's hearing. If the board chooses not to accept the settlement agreement, then the parties are free to return to try and negotiate a new settlement, or they can go forward with the complaint, which will be considered by this board at a future meeting. In this particular case, a complaint was filed on October 15th, 2019. The complainant was Neri Olguin, who is with us today, correct?
Correct.
And the respondent was John Strong, who is the chair of ABQ United for District 2, which is a Measure Finance Committee. Mr. Strong was not able to be with us today, but his authorized representative is here, and I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Matthew Gladymans.
And Matthew is here on his behalf. The complaint alleges a violation of the rules and regulations governing disclosures that are to appear on Measure Finance Committee mailings. The board has been informed that the parties held a settlement conference on October 25th, 2019, and reached a proposed settlement agreement. The settlement agreement, signed by all the parties, has already been distributed to the members of this board. The settlement agreement has three basic terms. The respondent admits that the mailings that were sent out did not contain all of the required disclosures set forth in this board's rules. The parties agree that the violations were not intentional. The respondent has agreed that any future mailings will contain all of the required disclosures, and that he will pay a fine of $400 within 30 days. So what we are required to find out from the respondent is, do you agree with the terms of the settlement agreement as set forth in the agreement that was given to the board?
Yes, sir.
And that includes your agreement that there was a violation of the rules of this board. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And it also includes your agreement to pay the fine of $400 to the city within 30 days.
That's correct. Being John Strong.
Great. All right. All the members of the board have received a copy of the settlement agreement. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the terms of the settlement agreement.
And Mr. Chair, if I may, just two clarifying points. So this is Nettie Olguin's authorized representative, but this is not Nettie Olguin.
Okay, sorry.
I just wanted to
Sorry,
make that clear
thank
for
you.
the record. I'm sorry, sir, what was your name?
Brandon Padilla.
Sorry, Brandon, I apologize.
No worries.
And just one other part of that settlement agreement was an agreement by Ms. Olguin to waive any claims against a third mailer that went out after this complaint was filed. And that was one of the...
Correct, and that is set forth in the settlement agreement.
It is.
Thank you for the clarification. All right, with that clarification, both those clarifications, the chair will accept a motion to approve the settlement agreement submitted to the board.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion by any member of the board? All right. All those in favor of approving the terms of the settlement agreement as submitted, say aye.
Aye.
Now that the settlement agreement has been approved, my understanding is that the city clerk's office has prepared a form of consent order for our consideration.
Yes, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. This is the proposed consent order, and it just attaches the settlement agreement as an exhibit. And
And
one thing,
I only have one page.
did I up? I gave you the wrong thing.
There you go.
On that consent order, the parties are not signatories to the order. I don't know if
Correct.
that's something you wanted in there or not.
No, I think this form of order is appropriate, given that they have signed the settlement agreement, which is attached. So let me give the board a moment to review the terms of the consent order. Are there any questions about the terms of the proposed consent order that was submitted by the city clerk?
I have none.
In that case, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the terms of the consent order.
I move to approve the terms of the consent order.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the board approving the terms of the consent order, say aye.
Aye.
The order is unanimously approved. The chair will sign the consent order. That being done, we have no further business for this public meeting, so I will accept a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
All right. I assume there is no opposition. All right. We are now adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you both.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
We were commenting, we think this is the first time any of us can remember anybody actually settling a complaint.
I found one in 2009.